An American soldier, known but to God. On the East panel.
Hi guys! Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So today I'm joined with my
family.
So please stick around with us as we go through this reaction. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this YouTube channel. See you guys on the video. Let's go.
Lionheart.
My name sounds familiar. The story of the unknown soldier.
Not every soldier is recognized for his heroic actions. Indeed, one of the countless tragedies of war is that the bodies of many soldiers are never even identified. On August 3rd, 1956, 3 years after the end of the Korean War, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill to select and pay tribute to the unknown soldiers.
Hold on.
The Korean War.
Korean War. Where's the Korean War?
I think it's
South and the North.
Korea.
I think the South is the allied to USA, and I think they came into
Yeah, to rescue. Wow.
Oh, I didn't really know there was a war
Yeah,
like
me
that.
too.
I only know
But I
about
think there
World
was-
War One and World War Two.
I actually thought the Korean War they actually separated peacefully.
No, they didn't do.
Really?
They made a big deal.
Wow.
Of the Korean War and World War II. These soldiers would be buried in the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery. The Tomb of the Unknowns was created in response to the mass casualties of World War I. The idea of honoring the unknown dead, of which there were so many in World War I, began in Great Britain in 1920. Then, in March 1921, the U.S. Congress approved a plan to return the body of an unknown American soldier from the war and bury him with full honors in a tomb to be constructed at the Memorial Amphitheater in Arlington National Cemetery. On Memorial Day, 1921, 4 unknown soldiers were exhumed from 4 World War I American cemeteries in France. They were placed in 4 identical caskets and set before a highly decorated veteran of that war, U.S. Army Sergeant Edward F. Younger. Sergeant Younger ceremonially selected 1 casket. He later spoke of his decision.
I was left alone in the chapel. There were 4 coffins, all unmarked and unnamed. The one that I placed the roses on would be the one brought home and placed in the National Shrine. I walked around the coffins 3 times. Then suddenly I stopped. What caused me to stop, I don't know. It was as though something had pulled me. I placed the roses on the coffin in front of me. I can still remember the odd feeling that I had, standing there alone.
The chosen unknown was transported to the United States aboard the USS Olympia. Those remaining were interred in the Meuse-Argonne Cemetery.
Look at the vast field of grave of soldiers because of war. Over what? At the end of the day, the countries that are warring are partially now friends today.
Millions of lives.
With millions of lives
Taken.
lost. Over what?
Different heartache given to parents, given to
siblings, husbands, wives as of then. Over what? The thing I found so annoying that at the end of the day, currently, 80% of all those nations are friends.
their allies.
They are allies. So what was the essence of losing this life over nothing? Because I feel like it's over nothing. There is nothing that worth the equivalence of a human life.
For the fact that at the end of the day they lose their identity.
Yeah.
They lost their
Not even
identity.
their name was written
Not
on this.
unknown.
I forgot to.
But we definitely don't forget anyone of
We will never forget any one of them because these are brave men and brave women that fought for the freedom and for what they believe in. Their name may be written unknown, but their memories, their sacrifice will forever be remembered in our hearts. Sorry for this pause.
France. The selected unknown lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda until midnight on November 10th, 1921. On November 11th, Armistice Day, the casket of that unknown soldier was carried from the Rotunda to Arlington National Cemetery under a military escort. Behind the caisson bearing the flag-draped casket walked President Harding, Vice President Coolidge, Chief Justice Taft, and the other justices of the Supreme Court, members of the Cabinet, Senate, and House of Representatives, generals and other distinguished officers from America's wars, and recipients of the Medal of Honor. President Harding officiated at the interment ceremonies at the Memorial Amphitheater at Arlington National Cemetery. He conferred upon the unknown soldier the Medal of Honor and the Distinguished Service Cross. Representatives of foreign governments allied with the U.S. in World War I participated as well, bestowing upon the unknown their own highest military awards. The United States reciprocated this gesture, honoring an unknown soldier from nations of France, Great Britain, Belgium, Italy, and Romania with the Medal of Honor. In the history of the Medal of Honor, these are the only 5 instances in which the award was presented to a foreign soldier. After World War II, plans were made for the selection and burial of an unknown from that war. But fighting in Korea broke out before the selection process had begun, and the decision was made to postpone until a more appropriate time. That time turned out to be 1958, when unknowns from World War II and the Korean War were selected for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns. The final selection of the unknown from the Korean War took place on May 15, 1958. All of the unknown war dead from that war had been buried in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. In that place, 4 candidates for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns were placed in identical caskets, draped with American flags. Master Sergeant Ned Lyle, a recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross for heroic action in Korea, was designated to make the final selection. He placed a wreath of blue and white carnations on one casket and saluted the remains of the soldier inside. The selection of the World War II unknown took place 11 days later aboard the USS Canberra. Earlier stages of the selection process had resulted in 1 remaining candidate from the European Theater of Operations and 1 candidate from the Pacific Theater. Hospital Corpsman First Class William R. Charette, recipient of the Medal of Honor for actions in the Korean War, made the final selection. The selected unknown, along with the unknown from the Korean War, arrived in Washington on May 28, 1958. They lay in state in the Capitol Rotunda until 1 p.m. on May 30th. As the procession moved toward Arlington National Cemetery, the 2 caissons, each carrying 1 unknown, traveled side by side. When they reached the cemetery, they shifted into a column led by the caisson bearing the World War II unknown soldier. As the caissons entered the cemetery, 20 jet fighters and bombers passed overhead, with 1 plane missing from each formation. The casket of the World War II unknown soldier was placed in front of President Eisenhower, and the Korean War unknown soldier in front of Vice President Nixon. The Marine Band played the national anthem, and then a bugler sounded attention 3 times. After a long moment of silence, President Eisenhower placed a Medal of Honor on each casket. The unknowns of World War II and the Korean War were interred in the plaza beside their World War I comrade. The tomb sarcophagus was placed above the grave of the unknown soldier of World War I in April 1931. The sarcophagus is constructed of 7 rectangular pieces of white marble, together weighing 79 tons. On the west panel of the sarcophagus, facing the amphitheater, are the words,
None but to God.
"Here rests, in honored glory, an American soldier, known but to God." On the east panel, facing the Capitol, 3 Greek figures have been sculpted. On the left stands Peace, holding a dove in one hand. On the right stands Valor, bearing a broken sword in his hands. In the center stands Victory, holding hands with Peace while extending an olive branch to Valor. The north and south panels present a total of 6 inverted wreaths, each representing a major campaign of World War I. West of the sarcophagus are the crypts of unknowns from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Those 3 graves are marked with white marble slabs that lie flush with the plaza. Since April 6, 1948, the tomb of the unknown soldier has been guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, regardless of weather. In blazing sun, freezing snow, and even in the face of hurricanes, the sentinels continue their watch. The sentinels, members of the 3rd Infantry, or Old Guard, are famous for the precision of their march and changing of the guard. The sentinel marches 21 steps across a black mat, past the crypts of each unknown. He then makes a crisp 90-degree turn to face east for 21 seconds. He then makes another 90-degree turn, facing north for 21 seconds. A crisp shoulder arms movement places the rifle on the shoulder nearest the visitors to signify that the sentinel stands between the tomb and any threat. After that moment, the sentinel paces 21 steps north, turns, and repeats the process. Every hour during the winter and every half hour during summer daylight hours, the sentinels conduct the changing of the guard ceremony. As the new sentinel approaches the relief commander, slowly and with great precision, conducts a white glove inspection of the sentinel's weapon. The 2 then march to the center of the mat, where the active sentinel stops his walk, and all 3 men salute the tomb. The relief commander instructs the active sentinel, "Pass on your orders." The sentinel replies, "Post and orders remain as directed." The relieving sentinel responds, "Orders acknowledged." The relieving sentinel then steps into position at the center of the black mat. The relief commander and relieved sentinel exit, and the new sentinel begins his march. The unknown soldiers serve to remind us that not all actions of valor are witnessed and recorded in war. We do not know the stories of these men, but we know they gave their lives in a war they did not start to protect the freedom of people who would never know their names. They demonstrate the courage and heroism of every man and woman who goes into combat in service of their nation. They will face threats we can hardly imagine in an attempt to eliminate the dangers that are posed to the men in the trench beside them.
Well, it's so disheartening that that we are not able to know the names of these brave warriors, these men of valor. These are heroes. These are heroes. We sleep every day comfortably in our homes, in our
Yes.
beds, and these men, they are out there risking their life, running towards blazing guns, blazing ammunitions, explosive, just to make sure that we enjoy this thing we call freedom. Anytime I see people disrespecting the army, right, I get infuriated. People always ask me why. It's because of these kind of things. These men don't know us. They don't owe us a damn thing. But they are out there risking their life for the sake of our safety. They're out there fighting day and night, not wondering whether they will come home. These are people that have families, people's son, people's fiancé, people's wife, husband and wives. But they are out there. Even the changing of guards, they say they will be on the rain, they will be on the snow,
Regardless of the
regardless of the weather,
Even
even hurricane. My utmost respect goes out to every single soldier that have given his or her life during the course of any battle. Like they said, they fight in wars they did not start. They defend the oppressed. They free the enslaved. And they would die trying. I never even knew about this Korean War if I had not seen this video. I only thought, in my whole life, there is only two wars that I actually know about, which is the World War One and the World War Two. But as you can see here, they're even talking about the Korean War. And I think I've heard about one again, but I don't really know whether that's the war, whether it is in between World War One and World War Two. I can't really know. The one they said the Japan something. Okay, it was in between. Honestly, I'm lost of words. I don't know what to
This
say.
just made me feel so cold. But I honestly appreciate the efforts these countries put in honoring the men, because it's one thing for them to die and there's no honor or no ultimates. And even till today, the tomb of the unknown soldiers, you can see people still paying that tribute to them. It's actually a lot. Like, I really really fancy that. That is one of the greatest things done to them. And even the write-up said they're only known to God. Their
Yeah.
names are not written.
We might not know the act of valor they performed on the battlefield, but God knows. We don't know whether if it was one single soldier that actually stopped the whole violence.
Yeah.
We don't know the heroic story
Of
behind
soldiers,
each
yeah.
soldiers.
Bravery.
The bravery, the one that actually stepped on the explosive to allow his teammates
Move forward.
move forward.
Yeah, correct.
The one that held the enemy back to allow his teammates rescue people or escape. These are untold stories. These are untold histories about them that we don't know. But here they lie in an unmarked grave. Even their loved ones don't know if they are the ones there. Even their family don't know. Is this my brother? Is this my sister? Their wives don't know. Is this my husband?
Stop. It's so sad. Really, really sad.
Honestly, I don't know what else to say, but these things keep coming to my mind. And I'll still always say, my heart goes out to every single one of those soldiers back then. You will always be remembered, you will always be loved. Thank you guys for sticking around to this part. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this YouTube channel. We'll see you guys on our next update. Till then, remain blessed.